Welcome to the Life of Hair Reviews. My name's James Atkinson, and in this episode we're going to look at a new curling slash sort of straightening iron that was sent to me by a company here in the UK. I think they're distributed all around the world, but full disclosure, it was sent to me for free, but I will review this product as if I'd put my own hand in my own pocket and spent the money on it myself. I'm not going to be super nice about it if it doesn't work well, but I think the results might speak for themselves. So do join me for the rest of this episode, and if you enjoy these review episodes, then please do me the massive favour of hitting that thumbs up button. If you didn't enjoy it, hit the thumbs down button twice and subscribe to the channel and chat to me down in the comments. Tell me your favourite electrical tools to use for curling, straightening and any other styling that you may get up to, crimping for instance. I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode, and I shall see you again really soon for some more reviews. Now in this Pacific, now that's somewhere in the ocean, in this specific episode we are going to take a look at a heat styling tool by a company called UpGraded. Now, this product was sent to me in the first lockdown, which was back in March 2020. It's now, where are we? I feel like we've been in lockdown so many times for so long that I've lost track. It's like the bit in between Christmas and New Year every single month. So we are now in January 2021. I've had a fair amount of opportunity to use this. Although I've only been at work for 3 months in the entire year, pretty much. But in those 3 months, I did get to use it quite a lot. So, really interesting product. I like to curl with GHD straighteners quite a lot. This particular product is very interesting. I'll pop it up on the screen now. It's got this very unusual kind of barrel idea. So this isn't a hinge, it's not movable, but it's like two straightener plates that are kind of glued together. So the whole idea is that you get that kind of straightener style curl without the kind of need for you to open and close or clamp down on the hair to make it work. So there are a few quirks to this product which I will talk about. We'll switch it on. They've been on for a few minutes already, so they'll heat up quite quickly. But they don't take that long to heat up anyway, maybe 10 seconds or so. They are temperature adjustable. So we've got 3 temperature adjustments. You just simply click the power button to adjust the temperature on the styler. So they're 160, 180, 200 and 220. Anyway, that's about all I can say about them. Ergonomically, they feel nice. They've got this kind of diamond kind of embossed feel on the exterior of them. So nice in the hand. Does get hot on the outside. I will say that. It's quite hot to touch now. So you probably don't want to spend too much, but the tips are cool. So you can hold the tips, clamp them if you need to. So I think probably the best thing to do now is see them in action. Oh, and they've got one of those swivelly cords, you know, so they don't get all tangled up. It spins independently. I use them at 200. I don't believe in going above 200. 180 is the optimum on, this is human hair actually, but like on a mannequin it sort of behaves slightly differently to the way that we'd expect something to behave on a human client. So I'm just going to take a little section of hair. So I like to work with vertical sections when I'm using straighteners. So I'm going to use this in exactly the same way. Slide them in, push it back up towards the root area, twist the hair around it, and gently pull the hair towards you. Now you can't take big sections with this. And you'll note that I've not really gone to the trouble of like smoothing the hair out too much. I want it to replicate as if a client had kind of blast dried their hair, and how much smoothing you can get from the ends especially. Now the ends are not perfect there, so maybe, you know, if we'd have gone to the trouble of clamping a little bit down on those ends, we'd have got a little bit more smoothing happening on those end sections. So we'll do another section and I'll demonstrate that for you. But you can see it's created a pretty tight curl there. I like to create something a little bit tighter with my curls than not, just so that I can kind of brush them out if I need to. You know, it's better to have a little bit more set in the hair than, you know, it falling out as you're halfway through, which I've seen many a time in my career from people. So we've got another section here, and my sections are about 1 centimetre in depth. Slide it in, push it back towards the root area, or just from wherever you want the curls to be. If you want to smooth out the root area a little bit, you can see that's straightened out. We'll do one a little bit further down this time. Don't want it to look too Betty Sue. And then just make sure we're pushing down towards the ground. Now remember, if we think about those ends, if we start to clamp now a little bit tighter on these ends, we can really smooth out the hair on those ends a little bit better. So that looks a whole lot better than that first one did in terms of smooth ends. So that's a good thing. You know, it means that we don't have to spend too much effort and time blow drying to kind of get a nice result out of it. We can just get a nice result, blast and go, which I think is probably most clients' preference in terms of how they do their hair. So remember, I'm using vertical sections because I really just like the way vertical sections sit on the head. So take a vertical section straight down the head, and then pop the old, I keep wanting to call it a curler and a straightener, but it's kind of is a bit of both really. So you could use it to straighten if you wanted to, if you just wanted to run it backwards and forwards. It does actually straighten the hair, not perfectly smooth, but if you wanted to just create a little bit of smoothing, it does actually do a little bit of smoothing. You'll note that I split this section into two. We're now into the sides of the hair, so it's really, really important that we split our sections because they're just getting too big now for this to take on in one go. Now this is one of the kind of downsides to this tool, is that the size of your sections do matter. Size of your sections do matter, because if your sections get too big, I'll show you what happens. Let's do a section that's way too big, way too wide, way too thick, and then you can see. So I'm going to say way too big. I mean, this is probably 1 inch or so in diameter. This might work. This might work. At 1 inch, you're probably going to be all right. Yeah, it's going to be fine. But if the section gets much bigger than 1 inch, yeah, you're going to be in trouble. We'll try and make a section where it's going to cause us problems in just a second. I was being cautious. I don't want to kind of, you know, make it look silly just for the sake of it. You know, that's a pointless exercise. But we're not necessarily going to take perfectly sized sections using this on ourselves as a consumer. So it's important that we kind of bear in mind that our sections do need to be smaller rather than larger. Work our way down, and then just as we get to the ends, we just pinch it, clamp the ends down, smooth it right out. Beautiful. Right, let's try and seriously make a section that's not going to work, and especially as we're coming towards the back here, it's going to get a whole lot easier to make a big old section that isn't going to work very well. Yep, you think that might be it? Great, right then. So we've got, show you this section. We've got a big old section of hair now. Split this section into two. Really, really important to remember, splitting the section into two, just so that we can work on one half and then the other. So we're going to go in to the ends, but we've got a lot of hair backing up now at the root area. So we're going to have to go back up. Now we're going to get bunching now at the root area. Hopefully you can see that bunching up against the scalp. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to twist it round and we're going to pull it through the curler. Now there is a lot of tension. It's gripping onto this kind of rubberized coating at this point. That's not a bad thing in a way, because it sort of slows you down and stops you kind of gliding through too fast. In my professional experience of clients using hot tools on their hair, those of the clients that can use them do everything a lot slower than the clients that can not use them. So that's a really interesting thing. And the professionals don't tend to kind of pop the tool in and whip it out in seconds. I know that kind of there's this fear of burning your hair. There is a heat protector in this hair. as well as a kind of multi-benefit moisturizing strengthening spray. The heat protectant is from Redken, and the multi-protectant spray is from Behave, which is a Australian brand. For those of you who haven't heard about it, I'm going to do reviews on both of those products very soon. In fact, I've got the multi-benefit spray right here. Supernova Leave-In Elixir Multifunctional Spray. We'll talk about that in another episode. The heat protectant is a great one from Redken. I particularly like using heat protectants when I'm doing, heat styling. It's really important to kind of protect the hair from this heat. If you think about this is set to 200 degrees, that's the sort of temperature you might set your oven to cook a roast or something, So it's hot. So it's always important to kind of have that heat protection in the hair. But yeah, future reviews coming of those products, so we won't go into them too much right now. Now, we've done bigger sections. Did you see the bigger section? Now, they can be done, but they just look different. It's this big, billowy kind of curl, this big, bouncy, blow-dry curl. So if that's what you're looking for, then it's great. But obviously, with the smaller sections, we're getting more definition, more curl in the section. So that's a really interesting takeaway for those of you who are looking for a product that's going to create a looser, bouncy, blow-dry look. This can also be used just for that specifically. So, as I said to you, it's not that it doesn't work, and I'm not trying to make it look silly. I'm not taking a great big section that kind of, makes the whole thing a shambles. I'm just trying to show you that if you take bigger sections, it really does look different. Gives you a completely different result. So, well worth noting when you're using this in terms of section sizes. It's best to come in about 50% of the way down the hair and then move back up towards the root hair. It gives the root a little bit of smoothing, then come down again, twist, and then pull the curler down through the hair, wrapping it around where you want it to start, kind of getting your main curl. Wrapping it around is a big hot tip, by the way, guys. It's really, really important that you wrap it around, because otherwise it does fall out quite easily. You do feel some drag on this rubberized, especially if it gets caught on this handle. If the hair gets wrapped around that, it really does pull a little bit. So that is definitely something to bear in mind. You're probably going to do that to yourselves at some point when you're using this tool. But, I think it's one of those things you will get used to, not pulling your hair, but you will get used to how to use it. So again, wrapping it round, pulling it through nice and slowly, and then trapping that hair in those plates, pulling it down. Okay, here we have it, all finished, styled, tongued. We haven't dressed it out in any way, shape or form. We'll do that in just a minute, but just wanted you to see it before we did anything like that to the hair, what it will look like, the result you'll get, and a very nice, wavy, curly finish. So once we run our hands through it, pop that down for a second, once we run our hands through it, which is probably the way that I would go about it in the salon, see what sort of movement we get from it. Get your hands in there and break up the curls, because we don't want to look like little old lady from the prairie anymore, do we? Want to kind of sass it up a bit, which is looking pretty nice actually on that side. So this was previously balayage, so that will enhance the texture and the movement we see in there. That's that side done. Let's do this side. This side's a little bit curly, and remember we've got that kind of softer curl where I was talking about taking larger sections, so that will give us a slightly different effect on this side, but it might get lost in the kind of mayhem of the curls in this particular instance. So let's have a little look at this, shall we? Yeah, I think that's looking pretty nice actually. I've enjoyed using this. I've just had a quick look on their website actually, just before I jumped back on to finish this look. I can't see it for sale in the UK at the moment. The company that sent me this are a distributor for the UK. They don't seem to have a UK website exclusively. It's made in Italy, this product. It says it is a curler and a straightener. I'm not sure how good it would be as a straightener, to be honest. You know, I mean, as I say, you can do a little bit of straightening, but how well it would straighten, I'm not really sure. It's not where I would kind of recommend it. I'll link down in the description the websites where you can kind of look at these things for yourself. But yeah, I'm pleased with that result. You know, client would be pleased with that. You would hopefully be pleased with that if you did that on your own hair at home. Do I recommend it? Why not? Yes, you can do a little bit of straightening with it, but not as successfully as you can with a GHD. And as GHD's prices have gone really up recently, I think alternatives are coming onto the market have definitely got an opportunity to get a hold. So that's what I think the future. I think the future is bright for new manufacturers that kind of want to break into the UK market, especially, you know, the cheapest GHD now is, I don't know, £130. This is a lot less than that. So yeah, fantastic product and really, really like it. Recommended. I've been happy with it. The times I've used it in the salon, it's done a lovely job on my little mannequin head tonight. Really pleased with the products that I've used in here tonight as well. As I said, reviews of those coming really soon, so do subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, like it if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, then give it the old thumbs down button, a double click, and I'll see you again next time for another episode of the Life of Hair Reviews.